Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors podcast. The Greenway Outdoors is also an internationally syndicated TV show on Pursuit Channel and Wild TV. You are now tuned into our weekly podcast hosted by executive producer Kyle Green, production coordinator Jeff Hutchinson, director AJ Beadle, and creative producer Ryan Parks. We live in a world where our natural resources are almost solely protected by funds raised by hunters and fishermen, with over 60% of those funds coming from white males over the age of 55. The Greenway Outdoors team has set out on a mission to create content that would inspire millennials, Generation Z, and new sportsmen and women to get out, hunt, fish, and contribute towards conservation and the betterment of our planet. Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors. Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jeff.
I'm AJ.
I'm Ryan.
That was some very interesting Welcome to the 29th episode of
I've been listening to Jordan Peterson.
Very Captain Kirk.
I would think you were listening to William Shatner.
Yep.
I don't know. Who's William Shatner?
Jesus.
He was on Star Trek.
I don't know names. That doesn't mean I don't know who you're talking about. It means I don't know his name.
It's the same
The
thing.
guy from the Priceline commercials, that's the only thing he's going to know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because he's the only guy. Shocker.
What else does he play in?
Star Trek.
Captain Kirk.
Was he a
Captain Kirk.
TV show guy as well?
Star Trek.
Besides Star
We
Trek.
just said.
I never watched Star Trek, but I know who he is.
I don't know what else he was in.
I don't either.
I feel like he's in
Nothing
other
memorable
things.
for me, anyways.
Yeah.
Wasn't the girl from The Big Bang Theory
She
also
was
in those
also in
commercials? Which is why I retained those commercials. She's
Yep.
purdy.
Penny?
Penny, yeah.
That show sucks.
Nice.
Really?
I hate it.
Do you really?
Yeah, no, I can't stand it.
Like, because Sheldon's trying to be like you, or?
Well, they based it off me, and they didn't give me any royalty.
Yeah.
That sucks 'cause that's
Nice.
a lot of money.
Absorb it.
This
No,
episode's going to be about physics, and Ryan's going to talk about physics for the next 45 minutes. Go ahead.
And string
I
theory.
can do it.
Say he won't.
I used to fly planes.
He used to fly planes. He
We
even
just
used
lost
to.
half our viewers. I don't know what that's all about.
I hate you, Jeff.
No, I actually was listening to while I was working out today. I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he takes long enough pauses in his speeches sometimes that I'll literally be like, did I lose service or something on my YouTube thing? And then it'll come back in. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
no, he was just tinking.
He's giving you a second for it to sink in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I like
Said
Jordan
something
Peterson.
Deep.
I've always found it fascinating that some people don't like him. Like, they think he's a bad person, but all he does is speak about practical thinking and how to deal in the real world.
All he gives you is facts.
Literally.
People don't like the truth.
No opinion.
So.
And he's Canadian.
And he's Canadian. Yep.
Win-win.
I like him a lot, though. Now, back to actually the content of the actual show that we're putting together here. This next week on the Greenway Outdoors on Pursuit Channel, we'll be airing our brand new Redfish episode. And it takes place in Louisiana. And it was actually, Jeff hadn't flown in yet. He had some travel issues with the plane. So he actually came in a day late and missed the trip. And we filmed it all in one day. But we went out for redfish, and we did pretty good. We got like
I think we did good.
6 or 7 of them or something like
Something
that.
like that.
What I liked about it is we actually got to use bobbers. There's something like distinctively cool about bobber fishing. Like, it's such a
It's
like
your childhood.
yeah, but even just as a child, like seeing something go under, signaling there's a fish, is a certain level of excitement, even when it was like bluegill fishing when you're a kid. And I was talking to my dad about it, and I remember asking him this question, and then he's like, "Yes, that happens to everybody. When you bobber fish all day long, you'll be out bobber fishing, and when you close your eyes at night after fishing all day, you will see the bobber do the thing, like
Really?
it's gonna go under in your, like it's
Yep.
in the black of your eye, and you see it. I remember I was like, Dad, I like see the bobber. He's like, happens to me every single time I go out for a whole day. That night when I lay in bed, I see it, and it's happened to me every time since. But I hadn't had that in a while because I don't bobber fish very often. You get older, you get into lures, and you go after bigger fish, and things are different. But I liked the idea that we're using. I'd want to call them poppers, but they're not. They're called, he called them plugs or something. Corks, that was it.
Yeah, it was a way that you had never done before.
No.
It was a weird tactic anyway.
The whole thing was,
Popping corks.
that's right.
Nice.
The whole thing was weird, though. You're using a big jig, and you put a fake matrix minnow on, or matrix shrimp on, which is a soft plastic, which, okay, if you're working a lure, that makes sense. But no, you're not. And then you just put a piece of shrimp on for the scent, and then and it's got a big cork, which is just a big bobber on, and you cast that into like the reeds, and you like pop the cork to make a sound. And then they come in and eat it, but it was like,
weird.
it's just, saltwater fish just behave differently. And all species of fish behave differently. It's so fascinating. I start out the actual episode talking about the fact that, like, no matter where you go and, like, what fish you're after, like, whatever niche that fish is carved out in the ecosystem that it's in, there's, like, some redneck guy somewhere that's worked out a way to target them specifically just in that area. Oh, in these waters, this is what you use. And it's like...
Bottle caps.
Yeah, it's like...
What?
There's always something weird, but it's like a specific tactic that... And it's like if you're not handlining, you're an idiot. You know, it's just wherever you are, it's like Detroit River walleye. You're jigging, going parallel with the water to look specifically like this, and then... You're in a river fishing for brook trout, and you're like, if you don't use spinners, you got to go upstream. Down here you can go downstream, and you're great. And it's
Watch
like
out
there's
for the
The funny
sediment.
thing is both sides are looking at the other side, laughing at them because they think they're dumb.
Yep.
yeah.
It's like, what?
But speaking specifically, what Jeff's talking about is brook trout fishing. We did a brook trout episode, and we got bashed for it because we were walking downstream. Now I like to go downstream because I'm good at being light-footed and not kicking up debris. And when you're working spinners, it's really easy to work a spinner slow and against the current because the current makes that lure have action. And that's what we do, but we got bashed for it because you're supposed to go upstream technically. But also, I caught a lot of fish.
That makes you want to go downstream.
Oh, so bad. So bad. Plus, I caught a lot of fish, so it's like, what do you have to say?
Where's the
Well,
argument?
you would have caught more.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, buddy. Okay, guy.
If you listen to Gary over there, you know. Whatever.
Part of my favorite part of the red fishing was once we were done after our 6, 7, 8 fish. Plenty of keepers also. They said that was a bad day.
Yes.
That's right, it did.
Yeah. I was like,
And they weren't happy
I was
either.
on cloud 9. All of us were like, we got the footage. We had this was great.
And those are
everything.
big fish. Like, that's
Yeah, got nice ones. We got really
what
nice
more
ones.
do you want?
I know. But they said they'll have days where they'll get 30, 40 of them. But you would cast it, so they've got I forgot what the plants are, but you're in the...
I don't remember.
They called it something. It was like giant weeds. But anyhow, you're in...
Like reeds or?
It was like it was a tall grass,
but they called it something.
Yeah, there's a name for it.
But anyhow, I'll know it as soon as I hear it. Anyhow, it really doesn't actually matter.
Snakeweed?
Nope, not even close.
He's just saying no.
No, I know as soon as I hear it, I'll know it because I'm
Was
this
it
close.
the same thing we were fishing for in Florida when we were going back and forth on docks and we were going for, I think, red snapper?
Nope, way different. Anyhow,
Everyone's stupid and wrong.
Yep. Now the thing is,
Oh, reeds. That's what it was. Reeds.
so we would go out and we were in the brackish water, which is a mixture of salt and fresh water, and you can have both, and that's where the redfish live. Cool thing about red drum, which is what the fish is, they can live in freshwater if they're converted into freshwater gradually. So that you'll actually have freshwater lakes that have red drum in them, but they are unable to reproduce in freshwater, but they can reproduce in salt water. So, but they can basically, you can do a release and take, is I believe what it's called, where you stock a lake with stuff, and then you can catch them and eat them, and they're good. I mean, they're fantastic eating. We got to eat them.
So they
Can't reproduce in freshwater, but they can live in freshwater.
But so the babies can't, like, they'll die, or they can't even lay eggs there.
I would assume the eggs don't.
I only read that they
succeed.
can't reproduce.
Okay.
So I don't know I don't know where it fails.
Yeah.
Could have been
I would
premature like
assume-
Jeffrey, but
I
he
would
lived.
assume that the eggs probably can't. Because if the fish can survive there, then it can do its thing. But I would assume that the eggs need a certain level of salt or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
That would be maybe even like the eggs need a certain amount of salt. Seems like something that would make a whole lot of sense. But anyhow, when you they're fantastic eating though, which is why they're introduced in those lakes. But we went out. It's the brackish water, so it's a mixture of salt and fresh. And at different times, there's different salt content based on the current, the tides and stuff like that. But you go out and you go up to these giant grass beds. They're called something, and I know popple.
Popple is
No, that's not it at all.
not at
That's
all.
grouse fish. That's grouse fishing.
Grouse fishing,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is. No, it's something. It's a word that's similar though, but it's not that. But I'm just sorting through words that have made it into my vocabulary, which is a pretty small list, so it shouldn't take long. But anyhow, we would cast right in there, and you'd like pop the cork, and the cork would pop, and it would pop, and then it would make a sound, and then all of a sudden the bobber would just, and it's so cool because it goes, like with these guys, it would do like the shake and the drift to the one side real fast and go under. You set that hook, and AJ got this one clip, the one thing where I just yank on this because I'm like, he's on it, and AJ happened to be filming perfectly. It's like a 30-minute clip though, so I looked through it and I was like, he was filming for a minute on this.
I was hoping.
And I yanked the hook on that guy, and he was huge, and it was pretty awesome. We've got a little bit of a sneak peek that Ryan put together for you so that you can see the preview of this episode and hopefully tune into it next week. Let's go ahead and roll that sizzle reel. Ryan, you did a pretty good job on that video.
Thank you.
I liked it. That was a good.
It was pretty cool when we were like super out there and at the edge of the coast, edge of Louisiana. No more further land, just the ocean. It was a real nice little energetic moment there we had.
I was fascinated by the fact. I remember when I was talking to Mary from Georgia, and I was like, "Well, if you live near the coast, you go to the beach a lot?" She's like, "We really normally go to Florida to go to the beach." And I was like, why?
The whole side of your state is beach.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But now I understand that's just not the case.
Yeah.
It's the whole side of it is swamp that is mixture of fresh and salt. Now there's parts of Georgia that has beaches, don't get me wrong.
Oh.
But where she is, she's like,
it's not.
Well, how would you go there? What are you going to travel through swamp to get there?
Yeah.
And then when we were in Louisiana, I'm like, oh, there's no beach here because the water goes into this, there's some boat docks and stuff like that go to land. But there's no beach because you'd actually go out into this fresh salt water mix, and then you're to the ocean. And then there's little islands that are just covered in mosquitoes. How did you guys like that, by the way? They had to film the boat driving by, and as soon as we dropped them off and started driving, the guys go to me. They go, "They're gonna get eaten alive." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, we better do this quick." So
there was quite a few bugs, but nothing like.
It wasn't that bad.
You were able to film through them.
Yeah.
The Romeros, Smoking Real Charters, are who we actually filmed this episode with, and
good dudes.
Yeah, they're
Drew,
great.
Right?
Josh and Drew. Yeah. So they were a lot of fun, and they were good dudes, and we're gonna film with them again too. They're gonna take us out, and then they made the red trout for us, and they also had some. Or, I'm sorry, they made the red drum for us, but they also had speckled trout there. I converged the two.
Yep.
And they cooked them out for us.
So
they
good.
did the blackened, and I was like, I hate every other fish. Every other fish is stupid now.
It was true.
After that blackened recipe, I was just obsessed, and it was just cool being in Louisiana and like experiencing their culture. And it was like before Mardi Gras weekend, and we were like 3 hours away from where Mardi Gras takes place, but. It's like a holiday there still.
Yeah.
And everyone was coming up for all. They call them. What are they?
Camps.
They call them camps. So I say, look at all those big houses. He goes, those aren't houses, those are camps. I'm like,
what are you talking
is this
about?
like when we were in Texas and you told me that a pond was a tank?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And he's like, well, they just go there on the weekends. And I was like, well, in Michigan we call those cabins, and they don't look
that's
like
going up north.
and they don't like those. And I explained, I go, you could be heading dead south. But if you're going to a place where there's a lake and you're staying in a cabin, you're going up north.
Yeah.
He goes, what? I go, yeah, that's how we work. If you're going to a place where there's a lake or woods or a cabin, you're going up north. I don't care if it's
I don't
dead
feel like
west.
you go south of that though.
You really can't.
No, but
Anywhere you go,
well, it depends where
there's
your
a cabin
starting
and a
point is.
lake.
You're saying our starting point is Detroit, Michigan, then no, you're probably right. But if your starting point's Muskegon or Saginaw, then you
But
go
then you
south
live
of that.
then you just live in a cabin because that's a cabin.
Yeah.
It's like anything,
You live up north.
anything north of Saginaw is like
That's up north.
Cabin.
Is considered.
Yeah.
I love it up there, though. When you go over the Zilwaukee Bridge, it's like it becomes a different world.
Yeah.
It's like that's a complete flip.
We're
once
gonna
you-
get so many bad comments
About what?
Why?
How about this? We do not live in a cabin. We live in a house, okay? Here we go.
You live in a cabin.
Here we go.
Do you
was
have
a general
Do you
statement.
have
Let it go.
decorative art that
Yep.
also says "Welcome to the beach house"? Because that's a
Yep.
cabin. Then.
One flamingo and you're done.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about is as we've traveled and we've done all these different things and reminiscing on trips, and I've done a few. As a team, we've done a few social media posts. We were kind of reminiscing over old trips. I wanted to talk about, we're putting together like our hit list of, it might be episodes that we think we could do better on. It might be episodes that we've done that we loved. It might be episodes that we've never done, but we think it would just be awesome. But putting together that list of like 15, that for a big distribution, what would make sense for us to target to like give the best representation of the Green Outdoors to a new audience. And that was why I put this list together, and I kind of wanted to go through it with you guys because I thought it'd be fun. Now, the first one I put together was snagging paddlefish.
That was fun.
Now, for those of you who don't know what a paddlefish is, that is a big... You did the thing, Ryan. You did the thing.
I didn't do the thing.
What do you
I
got?
did the thing where I thought of how you made fun of this girl.
Not
I was
on
thinking
purpose.
the same exact thing.
Not on purpose.
I was thinking the
I
same.
did not...
Totally innocent, but the way it came across and then there was no follow through, she's like, what?
The funny thing is, I missed it.
That was so
I was
funny.
so out of the loop when it happened that then I turned back and I had no clue that it happened. And then not until I reviewed the footage, I was like, Kyle,
So
come on.
what happened was,
Dude,
anyone
this
who
is
spent
so
more than
funny.
5 minutes with Kyle knows that he's got a funny laugh. It's not like a ha ha ha. It's like ha like a
How
breath
is it?
kind of thing. It's like did it. So he tends
Keep the mic.
to have a bit of a relationship with anybody that we go out with that also has a funny laugh, and it's usually described, and then they laugh together and ha ha ha.
She was just a friend, to be clear.
So we go out with this girl, and she's a news reporter. And we're out there for what, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we finally say something that makes her giggle. And she goes, it was like a low, kind of throaty, we weren't expecting that
It was
kind
a
of
weird laugh.
to come
It was
from
a
her.
weird laugh.
And without explanation, he had not yet laughed. He goes,
Oh, that's right.
I did it.
Right in her
That's
face.
how it was. I thought it was
and then he
different way.
moved on like nothing because we've done it before. You have a funny laugh, I got a funny laugh. Okay, that's it. But he didn't explain it. She had no idea what was going on, and then he just went on with conversation, and she's like,
Did he just make fun of my laugh?
so then I had to come in and go, no. He also has a funny laugh, so he was just trying to bond with you over that because
Jeff had to
he's
mediate.
not a jerk, I swear.
That's okay.
And I lied that day.
No, I totally, I didn't catch it at all. All I did was one of my laughs at her laugh because it was funny and the situation was funny that the thing she laughed at in the first place was funny. And then I walked away. And that
her
was it.
face,
to
she
me,
just, what?
why would he make fun of me? I
thought
didn't,
we were buddies.
I didn't, in my head, I was thinking, oh, that's a funny thing that happened that she laughed at. Oh, she's got a funny laugh too. Let me also laugh. All right, let's go catch other fish. But it turned out to be me going in her face,
man.
like I was making fun of her. And I never knew it. And then you guys told me after the trip, and I was like, I didn't do that. And I went and reviewed the footage.
Yeah,
and I
no,
was
when
like,
I explained to you, you had already walked away. Or I explained to her, you had already walked away.
Right. So when I reviewed the footage, I was like, I didn't do that. And I reviewed the footage, I was like, I'm a monster. And I didn't mean to be.
God.
Dude, it couldn't be more
She-
perfectly on camera, too.
She moved back to, she was from like
Minnesota.
Minnesota or something. She moved back after that.
Oh, stop it.
She quit her job and moved back.
I reached out, I texted her and apologized because I was like, I just so you know, I wasn't making fun of you. And she's like, yeah, okay. She was a good sport about it. But I was like, I promise.
She was cool.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
No, I swear.
I really didn't mean to. So anyhow, paddlefish, a giant filter feeding fish. That is, it's only in a few waters left. I think it's like 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that.
9, I
The whole
believe.
world.
Different reservoirs.
And this one is in Oklahoma near Wyandotte. And we went there targeting them. Now they're filter feeders, which means they open up their mouths and they bring in is it considered plankton in freshwater? The microorganisms,
Yeah,
we'll say.
yeah.
And they eat the microorganisms, and that's how they eat. And they often go to the surface of the water, and sometimes they're often hit by boat props, like a seal, or not
Like
a
a
seal,
manatee.
like a manatee would be. Because they go up and they filter feed, and then a boat will go right over the top of them and not even know it.
Wow.
It's a fragile ecosystem there. And the only way to catch them, because of the fact that they're filter feeders, is they're obviously not going to bite a hook, is you snag them. Now, they set up something really cool there in Oklahoma, and essentially what it is if you catch the fish, you have to tag them. You tag them like you would a deer almost, like you're deer hunting.
It's like a big game there.
Yep. And then you take it to the Paddlefish processing center. They clean the fish for you for free, and they collect the eggs. And they also do all kinds of research there, and they guard the population and basically monitor the numbers, how many are being harvested, to make sure that the fishermen aren't taking more than the ecosystem can sustain. And the thing is, these fish live for a very, very, very long time. Mm-hmm. But it's not very often that they have good hatches, if you will. So it might be every 8 to 10 years they have a good spawn. And that's obviously not good. And it really depends. They think it has to do with the water temperature, the amount of rain they get, and the way the whole thing's built out, of whether they'll have a good spawn that year. So you'll see a lot of fish that are the same size from the same year, because that year did well. And you can catch the one that I lost at the side of the boat, and I just wanted to jump off. I wanted to kill myself.
That's right.
Caught him. That's half the reason I want to do this again.
Yeah.
Who's a monster.
Yeah, you see these fish in these pictures.
He said it was likely 50 to 60 years old.
How did that happen again? I was on the other boat.
I tried to go under. There was like a what do they call those things on bimini tops?
Bimini.
I've always dodged the word because I don't know.
What is it?
Bimini? Like a bimini cover?
That's what they're called?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, Ryan and I showing our age. So anyhow, I had to go around this thing, and I made the stupid mistake of trying to go around it. When I did, there's no barbs on these hooks when you snag the fish. That way, if you let them go, they'll heal up quick and it won't hurt them.
You don't
So if there's any kind of slack, the hook will fall out because it's real heavy and it'll fall out. Well, I tried to go around the top, the pole thing, and when I did, he thrashed at the perfect time and got off, and it was like docking a shark to the side of the boat. Yeah. I mean, the thing was
we were
huge.
Nervous the whole time. Didn't you like hook it in the tail or something?
No, it wasn't the tail. It was hooked in the side, but it was the top. It was like the top side of him.
As he was coming
so
in,
because it was the top side, it was like the hooks were like this, which you want it to be like underneath and hooked in, but it wasn't. It was like barely sticking out, and only one of the three, because it was big treble hooks. Only one of the three was in them, so it was like a nightmare scenario in general. I know. And then I tried to go around that. I don't know what I was thinking when I look back at the footage. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. You did that out of choice because I was cognizant of where the cameras were, and I was like, I can do it, and I just didn't. I kicking myself to this day. And you see the two that Jeffrey and I got were monsters.
Mine was slightly bigger, but whatever.
Not than that one I let go, but they said that those were something like 38 years old or something like that.
What?
It was some stupid number.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You got a picture of that one to compare to the two we got?
The one I lost?
Yeah, no? Oh.
Shut up, Jeff.
I remember watching it from the monitor when I was flying the drone, and I'm looking at the screen, and I see it just drops, and then I see your face, and
no.
Oh man.
And then you see him freak out, hit the guy.
I hit 3 people, did a rock bottom to Ryan. He got up and started beating the crap out of me. No, but no, it was. I just think that. I think we did a good job on it. That was back in season 2 that we did this episode. Mm-hmm. But I know for a fact.
We can do much better
that with
now.
our experience and our time, and now that we know how to do it ourselves, going out there for a week and giving it the time it deserves, the paddle, and a lot of people never seen one. When I show people the picture of them, they're like, what is
really
that? What is that alien?
And it's a cool system that they have too, because the research center that you take them into,
the one I just talked about,
they take the caviar from them and they sell that, and that helps to fund their research.
Yeah, it's a self-sustaining system.
So it all pays for itself. It's really neat.
It's kind of like the rhino farms in South Africa, where they raise the rhinos. Well, it's banned now, but Trump's trying to fix it, I guess. But they basically what happened was they raised the rhinos, and then they cut off the rhino horn. That way poachers won't want them, and they sell the horn, and they use that to fund the farms and the protection and the security to make sure that the rhinos aren't killed.
It's perfect. They have more rhinos.
And then they can continue to grow the rhino population. But unfortunately, when you make the sale of rhino horn illegal...
Ivory.
Is that ivory?
Yeah, then they can't, which is worth more than cocaine and heroin and gold per ounce. But you can't, if you can't sell it, then they can't fund that. So then all the rhinos get killed and die, and they can't stop the poachers because they don't have the money to stop them. And then people think that will save the rhinos by making it illegal to sell the ivory, when really that was the only thing keeping them alive.
They're selling it in like China or something, and it's a remedy for like the ground up corn is for something. I don't remember. So I mean, you make it illegal. It just means that all the people that are doing it illegally are just going to keep doing it.
The problem is when you make something illegal, when you make any market illegal, you just create a black market. I mean, it's like well, it's not anymore in a lot of areas, but let's say marijuana was still illegal throughout the entire United States, like it was not too long ago.
Yep.
Well, does that mean there was no marijuana here? No, there was a giant black market for play. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's the same thing with rhino, and it's unfortunate that like emotion gets involved, especially with rhinos, because the guy in the movie Trophy, which is on Netflix,
Great movie.
He created like the perfect system to bring the rhinos back, and everyone attacked him, and I was like, you're all so dumb. You're not doing anything. He's just doing something.
He owned like a bunch of resorts. He was a multi-millionaire, and he's going to be broke because he's trying to save rhinos. What?
I think he's just about broke. What a nice. I liked his personality so much. He was my favorite person in the. It's a documentary that was made by CNN actually, and when they made it, their goal was to make. To criminalize trophy hunting, and then they just once they got to the bottom of it, they couldn't do it. They're like, okay, I get it now. But anyhow, that's way off topic. But paddlefish would be really awesome. Another one that we did down. This was also in Oklahoma. That's why it's kind of on top of mind. Was we went noodling for catfish. Now the problem with this one was we didn't do so hot that day, and we spent a lot of time out there, and we only got this one. That's why. Both pictures are going to be with that fish. But
no, I got one that was like, yours was like, I think 15 pounds. I got one that was like 8 pounds or something.
Yours was like 3 pounds.
I was going to say, yours was
you got the smallest one I've ever seen in my life.
No, we got 2.
Maybe?
Yeah, we did get 2, but his was at the lake one where it was underneath the
That's
boat.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Holy
The
cow.
big problem with that is how many holes did we reach into during that trip? And the whole time you're like, it's going to bite me. Here it goes, here it comes, and then nothing happens. So you're let down, but you're not. But all the emotions, it was a rough trip.
It was like when you, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I would assume it'd be like dating a girl you got a crush on for a really long time, and then like on the date you get super nervous, but then you start to let down, then you get nervous again. Oh, she wants to hold hands, and then you
and she's super hot and cold.
And you're gonna like walk her up to the door, and now you're nervous again, and then it's ups and downs. You get like that headache from like the ups and Ryan's like, I don't care, I kiss all girls. No, I'm just kidding. But you get like super nervous, like up and down while out there. That was another. We did a lot of news stories that week, but that was another news reporter.
It was kind of funny that we went out there, and then all like we were like, everyone wanted to come talk to us.
Oh, that's because we were
all
out
the
with
news
Chief
people.
Billy, okay?
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Chief Billy of the Wyandotte Nation was filled with great hospitality for us. It was
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's like the greatest dude.
I kind of miss him.
We'll see him.
honest.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. There's 2 episodes where we would probably see him. But so yeah, we went out with Tyler and a couple of his friends, Woody and a few other people, and
Colby.
Colby, yeah.
Yeah. The Colby's the one everyone picked on for no reason because he was nice.
I was worried. I'm like, we got to remember his name because otherwise it'd be like, these guys again.
But we checked a lot of holes. It's just, I think for noodling, it sounds like you can do really good one day and not good the next. And I think noodling is something where we need to give it a whole week. And really go out. It's freaky. It's cool, I think, for the audience of wanting to see the episode. Everybody wants to see everybody get bit in the hand by something.
Yeah.
And like when you're there's like snapping turtles and water snakes. And you're going in muddy water and sticking your, dude, I was so freaked out, and you're sticking your hand in the hole, and then that thing, when it bit me, like it bites and it twists, and if you don't grab it right, it hurt one of my fingers so bad.
It can break your finger.
And we had gloves on, and I was still bleeding like crazy. And then on top of that, you're reaching into those holes, and there's sharp rocks. Remember, my arms was all cut up.
You were cut up.
Oh, I was destroyed. My whole arm
was bruised and cut up. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But I mean, that's what's cool, and it's I don't know. I like excitement. I like danger.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones where the guide didn't get in the way by any means, but like if someone's reaching in the hole first every time, I would think that would
mess with you.
Get that first initial bite, and then after that maybe it cools down, maybe it leaves because there's other holes out.
The problem with noodling is the fact that you need to know where the holes are because it's muddy water. The only way to know the holes are is to have done it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
The only way to do it a bunch of times is to like make that your hobby and your goal and become an expert. Well, once you're an expert, you're always like, well, let me check to see if one's in there, and then I'll have you do it. The problem is, I think Jeffrey's right and onto something is because they would like check, and I don't like being babied either. I don't like, well, we'll check it and then let you know if something's in there. It's like, no, I can't.
It's a story of my life for no reason.
I do.
You always baby me for no reason, and then you're the one who gets hurt, and you wonder why.
That is.
I'm a witness.
That is dead true. I don't know.
He goes first, he gets hurt, and then I go, and I just.
Jeffrey,
although I guess
be careful.
I don't do what you did.
Be careful, Jeffrey.
You show me what not to do, and then.
I've babied you our whole lives.
I've never noticed that.
No? Yeah, it's
Maybe
true.
it was before you got on.
Yeah. Is it? Have I toned off it? Yeah.
Great.
I hope you get hurt.
Great example.
Used to be like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Great
so
example.
much.
Well, growing up, like, everyone made fun of him. I had to do something.
Nobody made fun of me.
Everybody.
He's like, that's not
He did.
true.
He's the only one who made fun of me.
He picked on me in front of everyone.
Great
Started rumors.
example of that is we're walking in the woods, and I don't even remember what we were hunting for, but we had been out for a while.
We were rabbit and squirrel hunting.
We were off the trail, and
know
then
what
at
he's
one
talking
point we were like, we come from that way. We come from that way. We're like, we're a little lost. We don't have compasses, of course, because we're responsible. Always bring a compass into the woods, and then at one
As
point,
if at that age that would have mattered.
so we come across a creek. Kyle goes, you know what? I have a feeling we should cross the creek.
Well,
We didn't cross a creek to get here. Why would we cross a creek? We're going to cross the creek. Okay. So we find a spot. We cross it. We look around for a bit. We go, you know what? This isn't working out. We got to go back. We don't go back to where we came from. We go back to an even different spot where there's a good-sized branch that fell across. Like,
So we've gone
perfect.
across the creek and we're coming back now.
Perfect. Bridge. We'll get back and then we'll find our way out. He goes, let me go first. Why?
It looks sketchy, like it might
In
break.
other things that have happened like this, I never have a problem, and you always have a problem. Why do you want to go first? He goes, I'm going to go first. You'll get hurt. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So he goes across. He puts his foot on the one wet spot on the branch, slips,
no.
falls in,
Into the creek?
Yeah, and it was cold out.
gets to the other side.
We were rabbit hunting, so it's like
He's
30 out.
Drenched. Gets to the other side, and then I go, okay, well, even if I had gone first, I would know. You don't step on the wet spot because that's where it's going to be slippery. So I just walk around that, and I got to the other side fine. So there's no reason. If anything, I should baby him. But
Let's be honest, that wasn't my proudest moment. We can go ahead and do that, but that was a rough day. But
was a
I
rough
remember
day.
also we still ended up in a swamp somehow, and we're standing there on little islands of ground, and we look at each other. I go, "How is it that we're here?" You go, I just don't want to be
we're
here
in
anymore.
woods and we're in swamp now.
He goes, I don't want to be where we are. I go, I don't even see how to get back. Like,
I want to know why.
that's how you learn when you're 16 by yourself.
Why? What was your thought process behind crossing the creek?
I thought we did a big circle, so the creek was up here. All we had to do was just go back there, and we'd be like, we were only this far away from our starting point because I thought we went like
He
that.
was hoping to cut a corner, basically.
So a shortcut in the woods when you're already lost.
Yep.
Shortcut when you're already lost.
It's when you get to that point when you're like, woods. If you walk long enough, you're gonna get through them. We'll just pick a way and just go that way.
That was, yeah.
We thought that
We've
while
done
we were
that.
out there. It's like,
This is what happened. As soon as we got our driver's license and we were alone, we couldn't wait to go out and hunt and get lost and just figure stuff out. And to be honest with you, like, that's real dumb, but we
Sure learned a lot.
Now we know how to work a compass. Now we know what we're doing. Onyx is great. The app.
Onyx is great.
And a little application plug, and we just got smart, and now we know how to handle those situations. But at the time, I mean, you learn through stupid moves.
Yeah,
that's true.
Kind of fun. But catfish.
Story of life.
Catfish. Story. That's basically a summary of your last 20 years. No. Catfish noodling would be cool because I think it's exciting for anyone. I think if you saw 15 noodling catfish videos, you'd watch 16 still.
Yeah.
So that means it's a good episode idea. Another one. So my cousin William lives in Alaska, and he has gone fishing.
He goes by William. It's not like
Bill?
Willie, Will, Bill, Billy.
I've never heard anyone call him anything but William, but it could be like where I
He
call
goes by
you.
Little Willie.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think there's a.
for sure he doesn't go by
Because that means there's a big Willie, and I think everyone would remember that. It's so weird. But no, my cousin William lives in Alaska, or he did. Now he's moved around a lot. He's a big wig at Pepsi, so he moves around quite a bit. Why doesn't Pepsi sponsor us then, William? But
Little Willie.
Yeah, still not that. But anyhow, he went out. He's in Alaska. Keep in mind, we're probably gonna be staying with him. But he's always gone after big halibut. And he's got pictures of him catching halibut the size of him. We're talking like 6 foot long monsters. They've got this big white underside, big dark brown.
They're like flounder.
Yeah, but they're so tasty.
And they're huge.
So I got a couple pictures of those too, but that's some that he caught.
Nice.
Those aren't obviously the monsters, but those are still big fish. I mean, that one in the middle is probably all 3 foot long.
Yeah.
Does the same rule applies for a lot of different fish where the like you got a keeper size and then you get the huge ones and you want closer to the keeper size and they taste better?
I think any fish, especially that eats other fish, the bigger they are, the less tasty they are. Yeah. But the only halibut, to be clear though, the only halibut that I've ever had was the halibut that was like 6 foot long that he caught, and they were like cut up into steaks, and it was meat for days, and that was fantastic. So I don't know how bad those can even get, but it was
interesting.
Yeah, it was.
It's probably all in how you prepare it.
Right. Yeah, but to go out and catch a monster fish like that in Alaska, I figured I'd toss her in. I don't know her. But if I'm going to use a random picture, it's going to include a girl.
That's amazing.
But that's like a real standard size one right there in Alaska.
I'm confused.
Why
by
do they
that
always
one.
show the white side?
I wondered that too, because the dark side's kind of neat. That's where the eyes are.
I like that. Like that part.
Is that the
cool.
bottom of it? Is that the side?
That's the bottom of
Okay,
it. Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of shape is that
It
fish?
swims horizontal?
No, there's
No, yeah, but they sit on the ground.
yeah. So the white
Really?
side will they bury under the ground like a stingray would.
Oh, no kidding.
So kind
they're-
of like a manta ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a manta ray, but more like a flounder, like you said.
Here we go.
But now
It's an engine.
is it the I think it's the flounder. It could also be the halibut. They either start out with both eyes on.
I know flounders start out with eyes on both sides, and then as they as they go through their life, the eye slowly moves over the top of their head to the other side.
So then they
What?
eventually
Yep.
end up with the eye on both sides as they get older.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the same with this fish,
Yeah, I don't
but I
know.
know that with flounder that's the case. So literally, think about it. They're like a flat fish like this, like a stingray almost, but it's like they're on their side, whereas a stingray, it seems like they're upright. You know what I mean? Like a stingray, its mouth is here. It knows like what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Like it's flat like it should be. A flounder,
It's like the
very clear it's
Picasso.
on its side, but they have an eye on each side, and they must get tired of getting sand in it their whole life that they're just like move over eye, and the eye just drifts all the way over.
Yeah.
I think it's for something with how they eat though. I think like how they get their prey, but nonetheless the eye moves, which is pretty wild. So,
Yeah, it just slowly grows over their head.
but giant halibut would be awesome. Now to switch climates, I've never been to Hawaii. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, and I think we should do this one last because Ryan's probably gonna die, and we need to make sure we get all the filming in ahead of time.
Appreciate you, buddy.
But
Thank you.
reef spearfishing. I'm addicted to these YouTube videos. I'm addicted to every Instagram page that does reef spearfishing. I watch. Now, if you look at the picture here, that's a spear gun. So you swim down. A lot of times,
so
like
cool.
reefs that are like 15, 20 foot deep. You swim down, and that's got to be hard in itself. But you got fins.
No scuba?
No.
Is scuba?
Are you for scuba?
We all just jump on it. We all couldn't wait. Along came Polly for.
Yeah.
Along came Polly.
Hank's area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, no, they don't scuba. It's snorkeling's like
Okay.
the normal thing that people do.
Okay.
And you swim down, you got fins on, so you can get down there quick, and you're literally hunting.
Yep.
And I don't know anything about it except for what I've seen in the videos, and no one explains it because they're underwater and no one's talking. But I would assume you can't just swim right up to the fish. I'm sure there's some sort of you have to be cautious
Tactile
and
in some way.
Yeah, tactical. And,
There, it looks like you're hunting in an aquarium. So
yeah. So you go down, and then you're literally trying to shoot the fish with a spear, and it's attached to a string. So you shoot the spear, it goes through the fish, and then you basically reel it in, and then you swim up to the surface and drop it off at the boat. And I can't wait. The thing is, like 38% of the videos also include sharks attacking the people with the spear. So yeah, that's a shark. That's a bull shark literally biting.
Look at that.
the spear.
went
The
through
spear
its-
is coming through it.
Yeah.
On the other
Oh,
side.
Wow.
But
Wow.
He shot, and that's what happened.
I don't think it even
That's
matters.
nuts.
So, but there's a lot.
awesome.
Because think about it. Not only, I'm glad you think so, buddy, because you'll be filming. But not only
I'm excited.
I know it's gonna be awesome. Not only are you down there around fish, and because you're down there, but you're shooting,
Really?
creating blood in the water,
Yeah.
and then having those dead fish by you that these sharks want to eat, enticing all
Down
kinds
there,
of mayhem.
You're making chum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then bringing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're around it, and you're an object, and you're something that's moving, and it.
And to them,
You
the
look like
blood
anything.
appears to be coming out of you.
Right. There's so many shark attacks
Really?
to divers that do this. I don't want to get attacked. And to be honest with you, like getting attacked by a shark is one of my biggest fears. When I was a kid and I would go even swimming in my grandma and grandpa's pool,
I don't want to hear
if nobody was outside, I would be so scared. I don't know why. I know it's
I
not
was like
practical.
that with lakes when I was little.
Right. It's like, what could be there?
the unknown.
Yeah.
It's because you can't see. You can't see, man.
You know what's weird? Entirely off topic. I'm really glad that you baby me. I would like you to keep doing that. You go first.
Oh yeah. Now that we're talking spearfishing, suddenly Jeffrey's got a whole change of heart. Yeah, Kyle, you can go first. You can go
You can
first.
go.
AJ's
Is that a
like,
bull shark? Nah.
AJ's like, I don't swim. I don't know if I ever told you that. I don't swim.
I just don't know how.
I don't swim.
Jeff's like,
film
I'll hold
from
the camera.
I'll
I
film
always
from
wanted to. He stays up. I'll get the B-roll shots from up above. AJ and I are gonna be flying the drone. Ryan, Kyle, you guys go knock it out. But no, I think that would be. It was funny too. I was like, man, it'd be cool. My dad's a scuba diver. He's really good at it too. I was like, oh, my dad could come with us and we'll have him go. And then I was like, I don't want my dad to go because then I'll be worried about him too. I'll be worried about you. I'll be worried about him. It's like another body out there that I'm worried about. And you think I baby Jeffrey? You should see how much I baby my dad.
I've seen it.
And my dad hates it, but I don't care.
He went out with us one time and earned it. And ever since then.
Oh, when he fell in the water duck hunting. Yeah, we've told that story 44 times.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's what he gets. He fell in the water because he didn't listen, and then now from then on out, his decision-making skills are gone. But he is a great sharpshooter, so we'll give him that. But going under, being in Hawaii, reef fish, going down there swimming, getting spear gun footage, being down there hunting the fish, seeing all the critters, all the coral reefs, all the cool things we'll see.
That's one of my.
It'll be totally worth Ryan's left leg.
All the
Yeah.
locals. Oh, yeah.
That's like top 5 on my list of things to do
Yeah.
of anything.
And the thing is, when we do these, we're gonna have a whole week long.
Yeah.
Just to do that. So we'll go out 10 times probably in that week, and it'll be awesome.
They've made great advancement in prosthetic legs, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Science is science.
have you
but-
ever seen Iron Man? It's amazing what they can do with technology now.
Exactly. It's so real. I love that true story.
Yeah, that true story.
That documentary.
Thank you, Tony Stark, for saving us all.
Yep.
Switching up a little bit, we covered a story of rainbow trout that there were so many of them in Idaho. This is in Colorado, that picture there. That's where trout fishing was ruined for me for life, where 5 casts caught 5 of the biggest rainbow trout I've ever caught in my entire life. So then I was scarred for life. Because
For real?
5 casts, the 5 biggest rainbow trout I've ever seen.
Wow.
It was so annoying.
It was so annoying.
Because then you're burned
Yeah.
out. Then you're like, well, now what? You know, now I'm going to go home and catch small ones?
All these other ones I catch are stupid.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm happy there, but then on the ride back, I was like, that was 9 minutes. I've spent 12 hours to get one 10-incher. That right there, actually, that rainbow trout there was the very first trout I ever caught, and then ever since then I've been hooked on it.
Nice.
Yep, that's the first rainbow trout.
a decent size,
I ever
too.
caught.
Yeah.
It was a good first trout. It was a good first. But anyhow, rainbow trout in Idaho. There's so many of them in some of these waterways that, and I don't remember the name of the river, but they have cutthroats there.
That's
And the problem is, don't guess, but I think, but they have so many there that they've tagged them, and if you turn in the ones with the tags, they're worth money. So there's like a bounty on rainbow trout that there's
That's
so
cool.
many per square mile that they got to get rid of them because they're messing up the cutthroat population and they're interbreeding with them, and they're taking away from this cutthroat population that they want to protect. So they need people to catch rainbow trout because there's so many, and that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I cannot wait to go. So I just think it'd be cool because I love trout fishing probably more than anything. Now Canada. In Canada, a lot of people know, people fly in there, AJ, to go to these special lakes, and you go on these prop planes that drop you off in the middle of nowhere, and in these lakes are more and higher quality northern pike than basically anywhere in the world. That's a Michigan pike there. You can see these 2 horrendously ugly fish in this picture.
Yeah,
I was waiting for
definitely two.
that's a Michigan pike right there, and then that's a fish that he's holding.
Jeff's trying to make the same faces the fish, which is
I
pretty
can
fun.
talk.
And then what did you put in the post? You said somebody woke up on the wrong side of the weed
Yeah, it
bed
was-
this morning,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is funny.
Because he's frowning.
But that's just a small Michigan pike, but they get monsters up there. I mean, like, look how happy I am with that small pike. You go to Canada, and you'll be catching 40-plus inchers.
Yeah.
Monsters in these lakes in the middle of nowhere, AJ, and every cast you're catching big ones. It's just so cool. So I've always wanted to have that experience of catching those giant northern Canada pike.
We did. Me and my dad went up north and did that one time. We canoed all the way in, then you take the boat apart and hike it to the next lake, and
Yep.
you keep going, and then you hike it to the next lake, and then you camp up there.
And what a story that would be, footage-wise.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful.
I mean,
it was awesome.
The scenery there.
Besides the mosquitoes, oh, you can't breathe without sucking them in.
All right, well, you sold AJ on it, but
Yeah.
but AJ, the drone shots that we could get there over these lakes in the middle of nowhere, just gorgeous. It would be amazing. But the big
What
thing,
time of
though,
the year is this one?
that one's in May.
Oh, okay.
May is when their breeding thing is going on. It's like the perfect time. The big females are in, and they're real aggressive then, I guess. I think it's the third week in May is like prime. And then
Nice.
it changes around from there. Alligator. Now, we've done this before. We went to Texas. We did an alligator hunt. The problem was we set out a bunch of baits like they do in Swamp People. Problem is we only got one. It's that one, and it's huge, which is great. But for an episode, it didn't really work out. The reason why it didn't work out was because the alligator killed himself on our hook, and we got there, and he was already dead. Like, that was what it was. So, action-wise, it was like, well, he's just a dead gator. So there was, like, no thrashing or biting or
And you can't just
shooting.
approach him.
No.
I mean, they're a pretty intimidating species. I mean, it's pretty much a dinosaur.
Yeah.
In real life.
We never made an episode because it wasn't a good representation of what an episode could be from that. And that's the hardest thing about hunting and fishing is, like, even sometimes when you're successful, it's like, it's not good enough for a show, especially with us. We're perfectionists, especially from the production side. But it was so neat getting to see one up close, though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was really cool. I'd never been. It was huge. It was huge.
It was over 10 foot.
Huge lizard.
Yeah, it was scary.
Over 10 foot.
Heavy too.
And dead, it was that
It
scary.
took like 6 guys to lift it in the back of the truck. They're just pure muscle.
They're so heavy. I couldn't believe how heavy he was. Could not believe how heavy he was. His mouth is taped
Just in case.
For good reason.
just in case, even though he was dead. You do that anyway.
Never be too safe.
They were telling stories about how they brought him into the boat and
They woke up.
Yeah, they just start going.
They
Doing that hissy
did that,
thing?
and it woke up. So the guy with the gun, which they were guiding, he didn't know what he was doing, and he goes, "Oh!" and shot a hole in the bottom of the boat.
Which was before they told that story, and they're like, while they're telling us the story, they're like, maybe that's how the hole got in the bottom of that boat.
Yeah.
So
now
they
you're-
realized it
no
while they were telling
kidding.
us.
So now you're in a boat that's sinking with a still alive alligator.
And you learned your lesson that
That's
shooting
when-
it only makes it worse.
That's where you just hit someone and then swim for your life. Hope that you knocked him out.
There's and it goes into the next one nicely. A guy actually just survived a grizzly bear attack with only a 22.
Really?
Oh,
His friend, however, that he shot in the kneecap with a 22 did not do so well. That's the joke. But a black bear hunt. Now, we've done a black bear hunt, arguably our best episode ever. That's the bear right there, actually. Ryan and I did this together. We put in the time and effort, and that was probably one of the coolest hunts we've ever did. We partnered with the Boy Scouts. We did it in West Virginia. It was a fantastic experience for him and I. Honestly, that was probably where we became best friends, and Jeff moved out.
yeah. I know. I remember just sitting in the stand talking about how like good our relationship is, and how Jeff just needs to leave.
You can have him.
You can
He's like, good riddance.
I need to be babied.
But
Nice.
I say black bear because I've got a nice lady at church who came to me and said, Kyle, you guys can come stay at our house up north. That's Ryan with actually too. That was at nighttime. Another reason I want to redo it is because I want to show the breakdown of the bear, and that's Ryan with the carcass of us getting every scrap of meat out. It's like 1:00 in the morning, and we're using the truck headlights for our lighting. coyotes are howling all around us, and we're trying to get this thing butchered, and it's snowing. It was, what a crazy night.
In the middle of the mountains in West Virginia.
And all he had was a pocket knife, and I had the only good knife. And I went out of my way to cut him twice. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My hands had slices down.
Oh, God, that was your finger, wasn't it? No, it was the bear's
Why
finger.
are you even on this side? It was the bear's finger. But the other thing is the lady at church. She said, you can come stay and cook. I'll cook for you guys everything at the house in northern Michigan. I've got this one black bear that is ruining everything. He's getting into our garbage. He's mean. She goes, we've had other bears that I loved and loved to see. This one's mean. I want you to take him out. So I think it'd be a cool storyline for a show where we go, nice lady from church. She cooks for us. So the food's going to be awesome. And she's really sweet. And we can take out the bear that's actually a nuisance that's ruining all her stuff. So I think that'd be cool. And she's like scared for her dogs and stuff like that. So it'd be cool to get that specific
What
one.
are like the laws on something like that? Like
We just need to get the tag. So Jeff and I have the points. Jeff will probably get the tag here either this year or next year.
Okay.
So we'll get the tag.
Okay. So
which
you just have to apply for it.
Yeah.
It's a lottery, and I've got like 6 points, and I still haven't gotten one yet. And it's like every.
But
you
where
accrue
we
the
are,
points and-
where it is, he should do good on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this works. So every time you apply for the lottery and you don't get it,
You get a point.
You get a point. Okay.
So that way, people who apply enough will eventually get one
Right.
over the people who just
Randomly jump in.
Okay.
Like me, who forgets.
You only missed 1 year, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Which because you have to miss 2 years in order to lose all your points.
I'm okay.
So
I'm okay.
doing
But you're
fine.
still ahead of me.
Yeah.
So, and I already got a bear, so I would prefer that you did because you never got it.
Oh.
Don't make it weird.
Yeah. Don't make it weird.
Another trip to Alaska. I just want to get a big moose. I want to get a big moose. I've always wanted a moose. They're the biggest cervid. They're huge. There's so much meat. You could feed a tribe. And the way Alaskans treat moose is incredible. Like, if you mess with a moose, you do something wrong, it's $100,000 fine for poaching a moose. If you should kill one with a car, I agree. If you should kill one with your car, it's illegal not to report, harvest it, do all the steps. Nothing. They don't waste moose. To them, it's everything. It's like it's
Good.
the. It's,
So
it's
they still let you hunt them?
yeah, because as you know, hunting and conservation efforts, the only way, if you want to protect a species, you better be hunting it. You better be selling tags. You better be doing that. But the way you harvest it, the way you don't waste anything, you can't leave certain part, even the guts. I think there's certain guts you can't leave out there. You have to harvest it all. You can't waste anything, which is great. I mean, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. But it's the biggest cervid. They're huge. They're tasty.
That'd be awesome.
It would just be so much meat. You'd be able to share it with so many people. And the experience of killing an animal that is that freaking big.
They are huge.
Yeah, they're
hunting,
monsters.
Hunting
And-
a huge horse.
Yeah,
It's
and-
bigger than a horse.
And the cool thing
yeah.
about it is it's big enough that even Jeff can hit it.
Yeah.
Good.
It is literally the broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I missed.
Thanks for that joke. I hope you like the recipe for that episode, which is moose haggis.
Haggis.
What's haggis?
Yeah, what's haggis?
Leftover. Scotland does the same thing with sheep. They're very they use all of it. They don't waste any. So they take all the leftover parts like we do for hot dogs. Only they use lung. They use all the extra stuff. They package it in the stomach somehow
good to me.
with spices, and then they kind of like a sausage, but they don't use the intestines. They use the stomach, and then.
It's not for the.
So something
Yeah.
that would taste a lot better than that a lot of people don't realize, is sandhill cranes. So in Michigan, there is no hunting season for sandhill cranes. I don't know why, because farmers are allowed to shoot them for crop damage, but they are not allowed to consume them. So you're allowed to shoot them if they're destroying your crops, but you have to either burn them or bury them, and if you eat them, it's illegal, which makes no sense, because if they just open...
What?
Yep. If they opened a hunting season on them and sold licenses and used that money for the conservation of the species, there would be a more robust species. They wouldn't be considered a nuisance animal, and then you could eat what they call the ribeye of the sky, a delicate, amazing meat. So I want to go to
That's
a state
so ridiculous.
that isn't
Why'd
dumb.
you go with delicate?
I don't know.
You were going for delicacy. That's what it
I was.
What a weird choice of word.
What I was going for was not being interrupted. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just want to eat them. I want to eat them. They taste like you. They say you can't tell the difference between
Yeah.
that and beef, and I think that'd be cool.
If they were like endangered or something, I would make sense. It would make sense where the farmer can't eat them because
They are
then
not endangered. Matter of
They
fact,
would
they're a
go for them and
nuisance.
say, "Oh no, they were a nuisance."
You see them everywhere around here. We saw more of them than turkeys when we were turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Very annoying. And I think they should do it. They could do it like a deer tag almost. But another one Wild boar. So I hate to say
man.
boar because it's the stupidest word, because everyone says boar, which means male, and to say male is
Sow.
dumb because you don't know. How could you say that you're only hunting males? How could you say that, like, when you go to a restaurant, it's like wild boar. It's like, oh, really? So you mean to tell me there's no chance there's any female meat in this sausage that you're serving me?
I feel like you get overly upset about this, but I understand what you're saying.
I do. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just a myth. So, but anyhow, I would like to go to Hawaii when we do the spearfishing, and this is the cookout. I want to do an actual luau pig
would be
roast
awesome.
with a wild pig
Cook it in the
that we
ground.
got ourselves. Cook it in the ground. Do it the way they do it. Experience the culture, the dances, all of it. I'm sure AJ could
great.
finally break out his moves, which we've all been waiting for.
Yes, you have.
I think that would be really, really awesome.
yes, you
And since
have.
we've struck it out 3 times on this species, hopefully the 4th time was good.
The 4th time would be the charm, and maybe because we were always just hoping to get him in Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's true.
I do want to read you, I'm not going to touch on this much, but the Python in the Everglades, it was an awesome story. It was one of our best episodes from season 3, but I know if we spent a whole week out there, we could do even better. And if it was a first-timer watching our show on a new distribution, I'd really want to have a great representation of that
Yeah.
species. I just think they're so cool. There's a cool picture of AJ. Look how cool AJ looks. So much cooler than everyone else on the team.
What a pose.
Pronghorn antelope. I want to do this because I want to go to New Mexico and I want to go where Roswell was. I want to see the moon landing. I want to see the UFO
Maybe
crash.
It was a fraud.
I want to go to the
moon's not
museums.
real.
I want to nerd out. And pronghorn antelope is my father's favorite meat, and I would like to shoot one and then give him the meat because that's his favorite meat. And I want to go to the UFO Center. I want the whole Roswell tourist experience. I want to stay at the Crashtown Motel. I want to go to the Crashtown Cafe. I want to go to the museum. I want to nerd out on UFO stuff.
I feel like your dad telling you that his favorite meat is pronghorn antelope is another one of those things that he told you, and then you believed him, and then he's just chuckling while you tell other people.
No, he got a wild game dinner and loved it. So this is why maybe your dad doesn't talk to you. Ryan just got a new puppy, and it's adorable. And I want to go to North Dakota with that puppy, and I want to get pheasants where there's wild pheasants galore. There's so many pheasants there. We only have them on pheasant farms really here in Michigan. You get like a week's season, and good luck finding them in nature here. But they're wild. There's a ton of them. I want to do it. Look how awkward he looks in that picture.
You want to talk about me in that picture? You want to
Yeah,
talk about you in that picture?
I don't know what I was doing.
You
I was trying to divert. I was
Yeah.
trying to divert.
You had a
Yeah.
stomach ache.
I did. I had a tummy ache. And last but not least, the ultimate duck, the king eider in Alaska. It is the prettiest duck in the world. It is so hard to get. You have to go into like the Barren Sea. I mean, you got to go in the middle of nowhere. Salt water, waves, cold. AJ's gonna love filming this, and go after that beautiful duck. And I think
Better
that would
than
be
North
awesome.
Dakota, so it's fine with me.
To that, thank you so much for tuning into the Greenway Outdoors podcast. Hopefully those 15 episodes will be the coolest episodes you've ever seen in your life, and you're looking forward to them as well. Shoot us episodes that you like to see. If you've got ideas that you think are better than those 15, we are open to ideas right now because we are producing our next season.
Actually, send them to us. 'cause
Anything
we
out
wanna
of the
know.
ordinary.
Yeah, if you've got a good one,
don't
send
say
it
deer.
to us.
Facebook, YouTube, comment.
Everything. And also,
Carrier pigeon.
check out our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube pages. This is posted every single week through the NRM Streams application as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Greenway Outdoors podcast. Stay green.
Stay green.
Yeah.